If you're watching this right now and you haven't hit the like button, Billy, get on it. Bug your brother. Tell him to do the same.
Let's shift our view slightly and look at the pitching then. Next comment comes in from Cito Strikes Back on Twitter. Says, hey guys, everyone keeps talking about Kikuchi and Berrios and how much rope they have. Pardon my ignorance, but who in the minors would be a better option? Or even a list of viable options would be appreciated. Great pod. Thanks for the content.
So you're welcome. Thanks for reaching out. Pseudo Strikes Back. Love the Twitter handle, by the way. This is a really good question. And really, I think he's kind of alluding to what we're about to get to, which is truthfully, there are no better options than what we're currently rolling with in the starting rotation. When we talk about how much rope does a guy get, I guess it's more along the lines of how long do we go until everyone's panicking and doing things like last year where Berrios is being put on the IL for a brief stint, or Kikuchi's all of a sudden in AAA rehabbing, that sort of thing. As for options, they're out there. The most viable options right now that I think we would see for a spot start would be Drew Hutchison. He was picked up. He's not on the 40-man roster. He was signed to a minor league deal. He's been all right in AAA in his 2 starts so far this season. I know, Adam, you've got the stats pulled up here.
Yes, I do. I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong Drew Hutchison. His stat line through looks like just 1 outing in AAA, 3 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry, that's strikeouts per 9. 6 strikeouts per 9, 3 walks per 9. Oh, I need another coffee, Scott. These 7 a.m. jobs are tough. Yeah, Drew Hutchison, I don't know. Nothing gets me excited there. It's
No, and nor should it. 32 years old. He's kind of kicked around and never really found his A spot since he was dominant for the Blue Jays in 2014 and got the nod in 2015 to start the season opener. He has fallen from grace, to say the least. I mean, the other viable option down in AAA, and viable might even be a strong word, is Casey Lawrence. We know what he gives us. Another veteran dude in the minor leagues, 33 years old. He's been there. He's done that. He's a guy who can definitely step in.
Does he have the most starts in the history of Blue Jays minor leaguers?
That is a great question.
Feels
I don't
like
know.
he's just been a minor leaguer for a decade.
He has. He's been a yo-yo guy his whole career. It doesn't matter what organization he's playing with. Neither of these guys are on the 40-man roster, so something would need to give if they were to. And in all honesty, it would be a really bad scenario if they're going to Drew Hutchison or Casey Lawrence. Bad tacos have probably happened in this horrible scenario. The other, go ahead, Adam. Sorry.
Casey Lawrence has 2 games so far, 15 strikeouts through 10 innings, 0 walks.
This is why Casey Lawrence continues to pitch in AAA, right? He's a good pitcher in AAA. He's just not that next level guy.
Just the definition of a 4A guy.
Opportunities. He's a 4A guy, has been his whole career.
And good for him. I would love to be a 4A guy myself.
Oh, man. For him, like, this is the thing that's so impressive with Casey Lawrence, is he really has stuck around the minor leagues for over 10 years. Not a lot of guys can do that. Not a lot of guys have the perseverance to stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
Most dudes would have quit. Bowden Francis, he was, of course, the prospect throw-in for Trevor Richards in that Brewers trade a couple years ago that sent Rowdy Tellez to Milwaukee. He has a skill set that could be used in a emergency situation. Like, again, these aren't very good options. If we are talking viable options that maybe could truly step in and contribute to this 2023 team, Mitch White is on the DL or the IL currently, right? He's doing some rehab starts. I think he's in AA right now doing some rehab starts. He's just building himself up until he's ready to come off the injured list.
I think he's ready.
Yeah, I know they're trying
This is just fancy GM moves, and they're trying to stall and make a decision on Trevor Richards. That's all it is, in my opinion.
So now we're talking guys that are more on the prospect list here. Once we start heading down here, Yasser Zulueta is a very interesting name to keep an eye on. I know we were talking with Julia Cruz of MLB.com about Zulueta and just the fact that he is being stretched out currently in AAA. He pitched a couple days ago, 3 innings, had 6 strikeouts, had a walk. He has the ability to stretch out to a starter. If they need him in the bullpen, they'll shrink it down. He could be the long man. There are options for Zulueta as to how they go about getting this guy some major league games. I think you'd need to see him dominate in a starting role in AAA before they even truly considered it. Ricky Tiedemann maybe could push his way on later in the season. Like, truly, Cito Strikes Back's point, I think, is like, what are we talking about here with how much rope? Like, what are the options? And it's a good point. What are the options? There are not a lot of very good options that you would want to see in this major league rotation.
we talked about Nate Pearson as a viable guy to replace Trevor Richards. There's zero chance he's a starter this year.
Zero chance
Right.
that they push Nate Pearson to start.
Yeah, Nate Pearson is I mean, what's the excitement level on a Nate Pearson over a Trevor Richards? Do you feel good that that would be an upgrade? Because he hasn't done even anything this year to show that he's got velocity. He's got that cheddar on his pitches. But without control, it's doesn't really matter, right? For me, what it comes down to is he's a guy with upside. Like, he's not, the prospect sheen has worn off on Nate Pearson. However, he is still a guy with upside. Trevor Richards, I'm just not seeing the upside. Yeah,
I mean, Trevor Richards is still on this team for one reason, and that is an elite changeup. But when every other pitch he throws is below average, it is not enough. And there may be some sort of pitching coach out there, Rubik's Cube expert, who can unlock that Trevor Richards potential. But
it's not Pete Walker. I don't know who it is.
I right there with you, buddy. No idea how to go about doing it. I think that Trevor Richards is on his last legs as a Toronto Blue Jay, especially as Mitch White gets closer to coming back. Mitch White has no options. You can't stash him in AAA. Trevor Richards has no options. You can't lower him down without exposing him to waivers. He'll get picked up. That is why Trevor Richards has not already been given his out-and-out release, is that the Blue Jays are worried about asset management and don't wish to lose him for nothing because they do see value in that changeup. But what good is that value if you can't unlock it?
Yeah, he's a guy to send out there with a lead or a big deficit. I don't know. Can he give you multiple innings? Is that where we're at? We're just like, hey, we don't have confidence in Berrios and Kikuchi to give us even 4 innings. So that's why we're keeping Trevor Richards around in case we need 2 out of him on a bad day. I don't like that. I mean, I guess you need it. You need those guys.
Adam, this is where we're at with Trevor Richards. Every time he pitches, the fan base is like, oh, imagine if we had a long man. When you're longing for a long man,
It's a
things
bad
are
spot
not
to be
good.
in. Yeah,
Things are not
it's
good.
true.